All right, good afternoon once again, and welcome to today's class where we're going to be going into Figma structures. I won't exactly call it the basics because we've gone through the basics before, where we got to show you guys the shapes and how to add image, add colors, and all of that. So we're just going to be going over for the sake of those who were not in those classes before we dive into what we actually are going to be talking about today, which is mask and the Boolean groups. So like I said, I hope you came to today's class with your eyes and your ears because you're going to need that. So let's get started. The first thing we want to look at is the frames. And well, as always, I like to make sure that my file is titled. Okay, so we could just call this Figma tutorial or Figma basics. And then we're going to be, like I said, we're going to look at the various frames. We have the frames for the phones, iPhone 14, 13 mini, 8, Android small, Android large, all of these which are used to design for mobile applications. Okay, so all you have to do is click on it, give it a name. It could be a home page, depending on what you're designing for. And we also have the frames for tablets, for desktop. So I'm just going to be showing us the ones that we're going to make use of, okay, during the course of this training. So we have the desktop. You can either decide to go for MacBook Air, MacBook Pro, wireframe, TV. I like to use desktop. And like I said, all you have to do is just click on it and you have your desktop here. So, oh, and before I forget, I'm not really want to do this, but I saw a few submissions for the last task that I gave. Okay, the last task we gave, which which had to do with wireframing, and one of the submissions really marveled me. It was really fine. So I had to commend the person. I think her name is Efe. I cannot really pronounce her surname. That was a very nice and well detailed design. Keep it all. So yes, I just wanted to say that because the design was actually very fine. So yeah, we have this for the desktop, and we have this is my cursor, right? This is the move tool. Okay. So if you're asking me to share her design, why would I do that? So you could get expo. Okay. So we have the move tool and we have the scale tool here. So basically, let me show you what the scale tool does. Like I said, we're just going to be going over this. I mean, we've already done the basics, but some people still don't know their way around Figma and all of that. So we have this rectangle here, and I can decide to just do this, right? So want to scale my rectangle this way. But you can see that this is not how this rectangle was initially. But because I'm doing this at free will, the dimensions are not really, the dimensions are changing, yeah, because of this action. So I'm just going to leave it at this. And then I'm going to get my scale tool. So another way that I would want to do this, okay, you can see the difference now. Another way that I want to do this is select my move tool back and then hold on to my shift to scale. So what that does is it doesn't like try to shrink my design. Okay, it doesn't try to shrink my design. So when I'm not holding on to the shifts, this is what happens. Let me do this instead. So, and what else do we have? We have the shape tools, right? Which one of them is the rectangle that we have here. Let's take this out. We have the rectangle tool, and at the top right, you can actually change or impute your dimensions. You can see that the width rather of this rectangle is 100 and the height is 100. Now I can decide that I want the width to be 500, and this is what we're going to have. The height remains 100. Now I'm going to do Ctrl Z to undo this. Now, if I want both dimensions, both the width and the height, to have the same dimension, right? What I'm going to do is click on Constrain Proportions. You see that I've selected that, and then I'm going to put in a random number. Let's say that's 500. You can see that it automatically changed for the height too. So we have 500 for the width and 500 for the height. But I'm sure most of you guys are already familiar with this. So like I said, we're doing this for the sake of people who may have missed the class or are still finding it very hard to learn the ropes on Figma. So we have that for the rectangle. Let's explore other ones. We have this for the line. Okay, and we mentioned that for the line, we have a stroke, and you can change the color to whatever color that you want. You can pick the color from this color board here. And also, you can increase. Okay, you can increase by either imputing a number or dragging using your mouse. Okay, to drag this to the right to increase or to the left to decrease. Okay, you can see that. So if we decide to leave it at 14, okay, you have other options here. Stroke at the center, inside, or outside. And then you can decide that, okay, you want the start point to have this, or the triangle arrow, the reverse triangle, circle arrow, diamond arrow. Do you want it to be rounded, the corners to be rounded for the starting point, or do you want it to be squared? So this is where you get to make any of these or choose any of these options. So let's say we decide to go with circle arrow. We can also decide that we want the end point. So maybe have this, the line arrow. Okay. So we have that for line and we have the arrow. There's no difference between both of them, actually. And just like the other one, you can decide to increase the weight. We have what's the circle here. And we have the polygon. We have we have the option of placing an image. Okay, so you could decide to place let me look for a random image here. So you could decide to place an image into your frame. And what do we have here? We have the pen tool. So let me show you a bit of what the pen tool can do or can be used to do. So let me see if I can, trace trace this image, right? Let me see if I can do that. I'm just going to follow this. I'm just going to do this to try and trace this image. Let's see what we have. I'm just going to go along the edges. Keep going down. See this way. Tracing it to we've covered all the edges. Just keep tracing along the edges until we've gotten what we want. Okay, we're almost there. Just it's going to take a while. Okay, so I think that we're almost there. We'll just keep tracing along the edges to all the way to the top. Okay. Going, going. Okay, so we're almost done. So bad she doesn't have a head, or her head is not here. So I'm just going to keep joining until I've gotten to the start point. Just do this. Click on done. So I can decide to add a field to this chart. Maybe make this spread. So you just see that I just stressed that using different tools. For people that like okay, this kind of images. So artists, there are a lot of artists that can use this to create magic. Okay. So that's another effect or the usefulness of different tool. And we also have the pencil too. I think I used this once. And it will take someone who really knows how to to play around with their mouse to actually make good use of this. So let me just say that I want to write maybe somebody's name. What do I use here? Gladys. So I can decide to do this. Fashion says this will be good for my fashion. So we have a fashion stylist or fashion designer on the call. So we have that, and then we have the text too, which we're all familiar with, which can be used to, know what the text tool does. So Gladys is a beautiful woman. I haven't seen her, but I have a feeling that she is a beautiful woman. And at the right side here, you can see where you can make adjustments to your text. Okay. In the next class is where we're going to be talking about textiles and all of that. But like I said, today we're sticking to the basics. So you can see here that this is the typeface that is currently in use, which is Abel. And we have all different other varieties of typefaces. We have Adamina. This one sounds like a Nigerian name. We have Actor. We have Aladdin. We have Alatsi. We have Aleph. We have different. We have Alice. So they have really, really cool names though. You could pick one here for your child. We have Andika, we have Amita. We have a lot of them that you can make use of any one of these guys that actually fits whatever you're working on. Remember we talked about typography and how it is very important that you pick out the right typefaces or the right fonts, okay, for your designs. And here you can change the font size. So currently we're using 40 points, right? On Figma here, you can decide to use 48 or impute whatever number that sits best with you. So another thing you should understand is this font, right? They have different families. For this one, this is just available for regular. That's why you can see that this option, okay, it's giving a default color. So that means it cannot be clicked on. Okay, so now if you decide to choose, let me pick another, this you can see that now I can actually select. That means we have, this is a font family that also has bold. Okay, it has bold and it has regular. But there are other ones that you could pick that they may not have that, just like we have this ASA here. So that's another thing you should take note of. Now, if I want to, we have this. Okay, it's what we call line height in typography. Now, this is 100%. What happens if it is 50? You can see that the line height between this text is smaller. we have 50. I can decide to make it 100 like it was before. You can see now, you can see the difference. And the same thing if I decide to make this 200. So that's the usefulness of line height. We also have later spacing. Now this is at 100%. Sorry, at 0% rather. So what happens if I decide to make it a 5%? You can see that there is spacing now between the individual characters, or I can decide to make it 10, right? And there's another thing that I noticed that most of you guys do, especially when you're designing on Figma, which is not totally cool. And let me show you what I mean by that. Let me say that I delete most of this text, and we have just Gladys. This is what most of you guys do. Have you seen this? This space here. You're just going to leave your text box like this. And it looks very weird. Honestly, it looks very weird. It looks very weird. So this is what you want to do when you especially when you have like maybe just one word or two, and you're seeing that you have all of these spaces. What you're going to do is going to click on auto width. Okay. So that this actually makes more sense, and it will help you, especially when you're working with alignment and all of that, to avoid too much spacing or overlapping of this element. So, and also you can decide that, let's say we left it, let me see, you can decide that you want this to be center, aligned to the center. You can see this, or you want it to be aligned to the right. Okay. So we have that option too. And you can also play around with the colors of your text. Right. Okay, so without wasting any more time, we're going to be looking at what we call mask. Okay. So the essence of mask is it helps to show specific areas of objects, yeah, while concealing the rest. So we're just going to be showing you a few or best practices, how to make use of these masking tools. So the first thing I want to do is get my frame. And trust me, I know a lot of people that create magic with Figma, and I feel like I'm still learning, because I know people who use Figma to design or create illustrations. I know people that use Figma to create 3D icons. People are actually very talented, okay? And you can actually find only one way to find out. Get on your Figma board and play around, okay? So we've gotten our frame, and the first thing we're going to be doing is I'm going to show you guys using how to use text layers as a mask. And the first thing I want to do is I've gotten my frame already, right? Let me just do this. I'm just going to pick a random color. What color do I want to choose? Let's say we have this color or this. Yeah, this is fine. And so we have this color, for instance. Maybe I should just stick to this, yeah. And then I'm just going to get random shapes. Just decide to turn this way. Orange used to be my favorite color, until black stole my heart. So I'm just going to get random colors. I don't know, just play around. decide to duplicate this and make it smaller. So I'm just going to pick what colors do we going to use that would not look too weird. Those are not look too weird. Okay, that's weird. Just picking random colors here. So, and for all of this, because I'm trying to get an effect, or this an effect that I want this background to have. So I'm going to select all of this, right? And go to my effects, and instead of drop shadow, I'm going to pick layer below and just put a random. I'm going to make it 16. So after I've gotten that, let me just increase this. I'm going to get my text. I'm going to add a text to this guy. I'm not sure I want to use this as a. Let me try something else. Where's Antoine? Where's Antoine? I think I would use this instead. So whose name should I even use here? I may not use Gladys. I think we should use a guy's name so that you guys will not think that I am being biased. Augustine, your name is too long. I'm going to use Francis. Yes. I'm going to use Francis. So I'm just going to say hello. Hello, Francis. I want this to be very big, so I have to go for, let me make it 150. Okay. For those who missed the parts, all I did was select all my shapes together, go to my effects, and instead of inner shadow or drop shadow or background blur, I went for the layer blur, and then clicked on these effects settings and imputed the number. So the higher the number, the more blurry, okay, the background or the layer is going to look like. So we have this now. I've added my text. Hello, Francis. So since we want the text to mask the image, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to send this text to the back. I'm going to send this text to the back. And how do you do that? Right click. I'm going to see the option send to back. When I've done this, I'm going to now go ahead to select all of them, all the options, sorry, all the elements here that I have on my frame, including the shapes. And then I'm going to click on use as mask. Now let me show you what this looks like. So we have this. Looks beautiful, right? So this is what I was able to come up with this using the text layer as mask. So all I did was put the background behind, just like you saw as I went through the process. So this is the final result. You can now decide that, you want this to maybe have a white or whatever background that makes it pop out or makes it look verified. So we have this for using text layers as mask. But did you also know that? So now that you have this, you can actually change this to like write it will still have the same effect. Can I decide to write? I don't know why I like Gladys. I just like the name. So I can decide to have hi Gladys. So the next thing we're going to be looking at is text fill the image. So I'm just going to use the same text. I'm just going to write, what do we have here? What should we have here? What should we have here? Let's say KodeCamp. Now you can see that this is a text. Let's make this 200 so it's very big. I'm just going to zoom in. So did you know you can actually, fill in your text with an image? So I'm just going to come here. Instead of picking a color, I'm going to go to choose image, and I'm going to pick an image. Hopefully we find a nice image. Does not really do justice, but you can see the difference. I filled in this text with an image, and you can see that this image is actually like part of our KodeCamp logo. So we have that, and we also have I'm going to get a frame. I'm going to get a frame and then get a rectangle. Okay, let's just keep this here. And I'm just going to introduce an image. Okay, skyline. Let me just keep it here so it's not too big. Check this out if it's so. What's the 657 is the width? 657. So I'm going to just place this image on this rectangle like this. Decide to send this to bar 2, select this and click on the use as mask, and you can see. So we masked it to the rectangle we had, and it automatically picks the color that rectangle, and we can decide to use red for this guy. So this is the result of that image fill versus mask, and we're using a skyline for this particular one. So let me try something else, still using the mask tool. So with this, you can actually like do a very fine design for people that are very creative. I decided to just put this here. Maybe and then we can add a text. Okay, so do we have creative writers on this call? I need a sentence that will best fits this image. It could be maybe 5 words, not something not too long. I need ideas. A short text that say welcome to the Red City. Mafia City, lonely at the top. Nice one. I think I'm going to go with that one. Oh my god. Lonely at the top. I'm going to reduce that to maybe 100. And we can decide to pick our color. So we have this. I mean, you if we decide that you don't want to use this text, you can decide to use this. With this, I've actually like sold this artwork to somebody. Okay, so we have that. I'm going to just share another quick example. So for this one, let's you get a frame. Let's you get a frame. Like I said, today's class is going to be very interesting. Others only be very long. So what do we have? I'm just going to get an image. Okay. I downloaded an image, portrait image. Oh, this to be too big. Okay, perfect. So this very beautiful image, this portrait image. So we have this image here. And then I want to mask it to another image, right? So I'm just going to get this, like a forest or something. Oh, this is too big. Let me reduce that. Okay. I want them to have at least the same. This one should be taller. So I'm going to place this. Good thing is already sent to the back. Select the both of them together. So this is the result. It actually looks very artistic. Can adjust it. Just shoot all of this, bring this down. So yes, she just dawned on her. So that is how it is done. So like we were doing before, what text? We can actually be selling this so as artwork, So what text would best you know, best fits Tiben, what's this? Will best fit this image or this art that we've created. Okay, that's not so bad. Somebody said Mama Africa. So this is white. So we have to change this to, I don't know, a nice. We could go with green since we're saying it's. So what do you guys think about this typeface? Should we change it or is it perfect? Someone said beyond the woods. Okay, sorry, I have to change and go with that one. Sorry. Beyond the woods. I think I would want to reduce the data spacing. Make this 120. And then you can now decide that you maybe want to add some effects. Maybe you want to add some effects to this. So we can go with the same green. Maybe add pens. So we have this, and feel free to play around. I mean, you could use your image to do this and just try to be creative. Because I know a lot of you on this call are super creative. So we have this for the mask tool. And what other stuff? What other things can we try out? We're going to be looking at the Boolean groups. Okay. And for to do that, I'm just going to get my frame. Have a circle here. Maybe make this 400, 600. So someone should give me a color, just a random color for this circle. Red. And I'm going to duplicate this. So I'm going to give another color, probably something that complements red. Said yellow. So we're going to be looking at this Boolean groups or tools together. So the first tool we're going to try out here is the union selection. You can see that this is actually like two circles. When we click on union selection, this is what we have. Okay. And if I decide that I want red to come at the top of this guy, let's see what happens then. We click on the union selection. You can see this. So whatever color is text the front, okay, it's actually at the front, because you can see that it's red at the front now. That's the color that is going to dominate. That's the word. So we now have another tool here, which is the subtract selection. You can see this. This is the effect. So I cannot decide that maybe I want to, let's play around. I want to bring this inside. And we can actually have this. Nobody's gonna know. Yes, so this, what does this look like? Okay, a moon, half moon. Thank you very much, Sophie. So yes, you can just play around with, you can be creative. Okay, you can be very creative. So we're just going to do, say half of a yellow sun. So Chukudi, I'd like to know what you ate for lunch today. So we have this again. You can see that I did Control Z to go back to what we had before. And we're going to try out another one. So the next thing we have here is intersect. Now, union. The union selection is the opposite of subtract. And we saw that. Now, intersect is the opposite of exclude. But first of all, let's try the intersect selection. This is what we have. So that's what we had for intersect. And we're still going to, still selecting on both of them. We're going to go for the exclude. And we have this. So you can see the difference now. Remember what the intersect looked like. Let me go back. This is intersect. You can see that the other so yes, the intersect, it shows you just the points where both the shapes meet, and the other one shows you where it doesn't. So I'm just going to do Control Z on this. And we're going to go back to see what the exclude does. So we have this. Okay, so like I said, you can play around with these tools, yes, to be creative. And with that being said, I'm just going to, I think there's another one I might have missed. Let's have this. And we're just going to place an image. Let's say we decide to, no, I need a complete image. Maybe someone that probably has a full image. Let's say we decide to go with this. So going to increase this, select both of them and mask. So we have this. I can decide to adjust the image inside of this. Okay. So the next thing I would like for us to try is the effects. So with that, I'm just going to duplicate this frame. Delete all of this. And we're just going to get a rectangle. 600 for instance. Pick a color, random color. And then we're going to go to the effects. You just have to click on the plus icon here. And I decide to apply a shadow. So this is the y-axis and this is the x-axis. This is the y-axis. So for the y, I can decide that I want this instead of 4, I want it to be 10. And I can decide that I want the blow to be 10. Decide that the spread should be 25. So maybe make this 5 or maybe make this just 10. So you can see the effects of the shadow. And we also have inner shadow. Inner shadow, when applied to a circle, it gives us this effect. Let me show you what I mean by that. I just said to make maybe 400. So we're just going to go with the same color. Now, decide to click on effects. Now, let's say we make this 10. And decide to make this 8. Maybe a spread of 5. You can see that effect. Giving this 3D effect somehow. You can see it around the edges. That's what inner shadow does. And also there is the one that I used, which is the layer blow. So the more you increase the number, this is what you get for the layer of the object. So we have layer blow, we have background blow. That will not really show since the background is white. We have drop shadow, we have inner shadow. So like I said, just play around. And one last thing we're going to look at is, I'm sure you know you can add a stroke to this. Add a stroke to that. And we also talked about, in the last class, we did a little bit of gradients, linear, and all of those stuff. So this is for the linear. And play around your colors. So you can decide that you want this one, the first one here, to have 100% of this color. you are making use of, which is purple. And you can also decide that you want the lower part to have maybe this yellow. This is what it looks like. You can pick another color entirely. And then you can adjust. So we have linear, we also have radial, and this is what it looks like. So you can only discover all of these tools when you play around with your Figma. We have angular, this is what angular looks like. I like the effects that gives off. Did you see this? I use this as a background for whatever design. Somebody can even buy this as an artwork. So we have this for the angular, and we also have diamond. So this is diamond. This is diamond. And I'm sure you also know that you can place an image into whatever shape you have you want to. So on to the next thing. I'm going to get my frame, my phone frame. And I like to use iPhone 13 mini. So I mentioned layout grid in one of those classes, but for the sake of people that missed it, I'm just going to go over it again. So for the layout grid, we have the meet your mics. For the layout grid, we have this grid. Okay, that comes in small boxes, and then we have grid, we have columns, we have the rows. Okay, I'm going to make use of column. Okay, so we have columns. Now, for those that do not, that like their work to be very detailed, right? Making sure that all the text, all the elements they're making use of on a design is actually aligned. So here we have the column, right? And I can say that I want the counts to be maybe, I don't know, 8. 8 is fine. And also I want my margin to be 16. So what that does is, I think I should reduce this count so it doesn't confuse you guys. And what's our quota? 20. Maybe 10. Yes. So you can see this. From here to here is our margin. From the distance from at the beginning here to this space here is our margin. Okay. And we can decide to increase it to 24. Depends. So if you want your margin for maybe the mobile frames that you're designing with to be 16, so you're going to put that in there. And what this does is it helps you to check alignment. So I can now decide to maybe have a circle here. So what I'm going to do is make sure that all of my elements start from here. That's the essence of this layout grid. Okay. It helps me to check alignment. So you can have that there, maybe make it 70. Then you have a text. So assuming that you want to maybe place squares together, you can have, we're going to zoom in, making sure that this guy starts here. Follow the red line, because also that red line helps you to be in check. So I can try to duplicate this. Making sure that my margin following this guy. So some people will still want to manually check. You know how Nigerians, we lock our doors, right? Maybe our car doors, or even like the doors in our homes, but we still, try the handle to make sure that it's locked. So we can still do that here by checking the alignment to make sure that we're actually using 16 pixels, right, as our margin. So when we've gotten this for both sides, we can now decide that maybe we want to increase the width from this side and do the same thing for this. We're making use of all three of them. So we can decide that maybe we want this to be 110, but this one has to be 110 too. Maybe then we'll now adjust this. So, and this is the result of what we have when we, turn off this, the view. So this is what we have. So that's the usefulness of layout grid. It helps designers to make sure that their elements or their icons, whatever is well aligned. And we also talked about some plugins, making use of some plugins on Figma. And I think I remember mine a link or can hear me. Okay. Thank you. So yes, I was saying there are some important plugins. I'm just going to show you just a few. I think
Sorry, we can't hear you.
so. This is where I stopped here. where we're trying to, so because of network, this is showing unable to run plugin. So I'm going to try that process again. We're going to run the Iconify plugin. Okay, so this is what we have. And let's just say we wanted to maybe, I don't know, design a bottom nav. So we can have home. So these are varieties of home icons. I think I like this. It's unusual. So I'm going to bring this, drag this out. Keep it. I wanted to bring it, but I'm not so certain that if you're making use of icons that outlined, okay, outlined icons like such as this one that you can see on my screen, make sure that you're consistent. Okay, you cannot have two types of icon displayed on your design. That's the field and the outline. Okay, so just stick to one. If you're going to make use of the field one, make use of the field one, especially if you're designing a bottom nav. So for this search, network is very messy. Let's see if we can search for that again. Okay, so we have this. Let me go with this guy. I like it because it's as light as the first one that I got. Now I can decide that I want wallets. Get the menu icon. So something as light as the other ones. Because they already have similar style. So let's make sure that whatever I'm getting follows the same style. Okay. So we have this. And so to just place this here. It's this, place this here. It's this, place this here. And this. And also another thing I want to check is the dimension. So we have 24 here. We have 24, we have 21. We want to start with 24. So then I have 24 here. I'm going to just select all of them and use this tool. More options. Want it to be distributed, to have a distributed horizontal spacing. And then we also want to distribute a vertical spacing. So yes, this allows them to have equal alignment, right? You can see that they're all on the straight line. And I can decide that I want this to carry the primary color, whatever color that is. Maybe this one, for instance. So if we want this to be displayed in such a way that whenever the icons are being clicked on, okay, you automatically see this text, then we'll do well to add it So you can say that we want this. So when you want to just select both of them together, you can see that they are not aligned. Let me zoom in. So we want this and this to be aligned vertically. Sorry about that. Rather horizontally. And here, where you can see my cursor. Okay, this is where you get to. You've seen that this is 10. The spacing between the two elements is 10. We have 5, brings them closer. We have 4. So we can also decide that we want this to carry this color. So yes, we've done mask. We've looked at the Boolean groups. We've also looked at some alignment best practices and also layouts grids. So I think that's for today's class. Like I said, the only way you can learn is by practicing, right? Practice more. Go on your Figma board, try out different stuff. It doesn't have to look perfect, okay? But as long as you're making this steady progress every day, you will eventually get better.